Let's learn about some of the building and folding techniques. One of the basic ones is a roll. So you can take your paper, roll it, and anytime you want to glue something and you want it to hold, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue right here. And when I roll it and press, I'm going to hold and I'm going to count to 10. When you count to 10, maybe even 15, right, you're giving pressure. You're pressing and holding, and then your roll should stay. Let's take a look at the tab. So to do a tab, I like to fold my paper, and that gives me a line. I can cut up my lines, cut up until I stop at that line. From here, I could keep all my tabs on the outside if I wanted to attach it to something, or I could put a tab on every other side. Allows me to be flexible. I could glue this on like this, or I could give it some shape. The same thing though, when you're gluing it down to your surface, you're gonna press and hold. Say I wanted it to glue it on like this. I'm gonna press and hold with pressure, counting to 10. I have my paper. Let's take a look at the spiral as an option. You can spiral any shape. So starting to cut in, and when you almost get to the edge, stop and rotate, and almost get to the edge and stop and rotate. And let it hang. Or I could push it back down and have just created texture on my paper and a pattern that you can see all the lights and shadows. Fringe. Fringe can be done a lot of different ways. I'm going to take this guy, cut him in half. So I could cut tall fringes or short fringes. The only thing with fringes, you want to make sure you don't cut all the way through. Now I have paper fringe, right? I could combine this with tab. This makes the paper more flexible in movement. I can roll it. I can bend it. When you have fringe, there's so many options for creating movement. Let's go ahead and look at curls. For curls, I like to use a pencil, and I can wrap my paper around my pencil. Again, we'll create movement. So after I wrap, I can hold it, give it a little squeeze. And now I have a paper curl. This might be a fun thing to glue either down flat or just glue one edge for a more 3D effect. Let's take a look at slotting paper together. This might be one you have experience with. If I cut into a paper halfway, and then on the bottom, cut into the paper halfway from the other edge, it allows me to slot or put the paper together without glue. Different papers together. So say I have this green one, I could slot another paper in by cutting halfway. I think I'm going to cut this one halfway. Yeah, I don't want that extra piece on there. And now I can stick this one in here. And I've now slotted these two different papers together. Maybe I'm going to attach it down here on my base or bend this one in. I could even double slot this if I planned ahead. Let's take a look. Can I double slot it like this? Give myself another one here. When we have these wow days, I really want you to play around with the material or the idea of the day and experiment. Not everything is going to work, and that is okay. I would say this didn't really go as planned, but it still looks pretty neat. One of the most versatile options for building would be folding paper. This gives you a lot of power. Right now I have a blank white paper, but if I start to fold a design, whether it's as simple as a back and forth, I create texture and shadows on your paper. And we go from having a plain white paper to having something full of different values of grays and whites. I'll just stop here for now, but you can see now, right, my paper, when I look at it, it doesn't just look like plain white. I have areas where it's bright white and a part where it's a little bit darker. There are so many different folds you can do. You can do diagonals, and you can come in and do a second diagonal, and then a horizontal, and you can create your own folding patterns to create your own sets of shadows. That is a very basic introduction to folding paper. What you're going to do today is take your little scraps, experiment, play with them, and then pick some of your favorites to glue down to your base. We'll make sure we put our name in the corner in our neatest handwriting. And then I want you to pick your favorites. So let's say I'm going to put this guy down here. Remember again, press and hold and count to 10. I'm going to glue this side down here. You'll start to have something really neat come together and have proof of your learning today. I hope you enjoy.